In the spring of 2023, Kouri Richins sat on a brightly lit morning talk show, clutching a children's book she had written about loss. She spoke softly about invisible strings that connect us to those we've lost. She was a grieving widow, a mother of 3, trying to heal a broken family from recent loss. But 3 years after her husband's, Eric's, death, a jury in Summit County looked past the soft-spoken author and saw a cold-blooded strategist. On March 16, 2026, the performance officially ended. Kouri Richins was not just a writer of fiction, she was a convicted murderer. This is the story of how a grief expert became the architect of her own family's tragedy. To the neighbors, the Richins lived the Utah dream. Eric was a successful businessman, Kouri was a rising real estate flipper, but behind the scenes, Kouri was drowning. She was millions of dollars in debt from ambitious property deals that were not paying off. Eric had begun to see the cracks. He discovered Kouri had been siphoning money from his accounts and even tried to change his life insurance behind his back. By late 2021, Eric took a silent stand. He moved his estate into a trust and removed Kouri from his will. He told his family quite literally, "If anything happens to me, she did it." The prosecution's case centered on a chilling realization. The night Eric died was not the first time Kouri tried to kill him. The jury heard evidence of a practice run on Valentine's Day 2022. After a dinner at home, Eric became violently ill, telling a friend he was sure he'd been poisoned. He survived Valentine's Day, he did not survive March 4th. That night, Kouri served him a Moscow Mule to celebrate a business deal. It was laced with 5 times the lethal dose of illicit fentanyl. As Eric lay dying at the foot of their bed, Kouri wasn't calling for help, she was allegedly on her phone, checking her digital trail. The most damning evidence didn't come from a witness, it came from Kouri's own pocket. Digital forensics recovered a deleted thread with a woman identified in court as CL, a housekeeper who had previously been arrested on drug charges. On February 11th, 6 days before the Valentine's poisoning, Kouri texted CL asking for some of that Michael Jackson stuff, a clear reference to propofol. When that was not available, she pivoted to fentanyl. On February 26, Kouri allegedly met CL at a convenience store and paid $900 for 15 to 30 pills. Then came the search history. In the weeks leading up to Eric's death, Kouri's phone was a window into a dark obsession. She searched, "What is a little dose of fentanyl? Can police see deleted messages? If a death is ruled accidental, does life insurance still pay out? Luxury prisons for the rich in Utah." These were not the searches of a grieving wife. They were the searches of a woman calculating the cost of a crime and the comfort of her potential punishment. After a grueling trial that captivated the nation, the jury took less than 3 hours to reach their decision. The counts were read one by one. Aggravated murder for the fatal poisoning, attempted aggravated murder for the Valentine's Day poisoning, insurance fraud for the $2 million in policies she tried to collect, forgery for the documents she faked to secure her financial future, convicted on all counts. Prosecutors successfully painted Kouri as a woman who saw her husband not as a partner, but as an obstacle to the lifestyle she felt she deserved. The judge did not hold back. For the crime of taking a father from his children and a son from his mother, Kouri Richins was sentenced 20 years to life in prison. In a final poetic stroke of justice, the sentencing was scheduled for May 13, 2026, what would have been Eric's 44th birthday. While Kouri begins a life behind bars in a state facility, the legacy of her grief book has been permanently erased, replaced by the court transcript of her betrayal. We often ask how someone could do this. In the end, the evidence showed us that Kouri Richins lived in 2 worlds, one of staged empathy and one of calculated greed. The tragedy is that while the world finally knows the truth, 3 young boys are left with a story no book can fix.